Greetings. I'm Charles. I'm 55 years old. I'm 6'1" when I'm fully assembled, and weigh about 230 pounds. Today I am not fully assembled. I'm coming to you without either of my prosthetic legs on, and because of that, of course, I'm sitting in my wheelchair, and I have a seatbelt on because nobody wants to pick the fat guy up off the floor. So I want to be safe, prevent the opportunity for me to fall out of the wheelchair, or slip out of the wheelchair, or any of that kind of nature, any of that kind of a thing. Today what I want to talk about is swelling of specifically my BKA, my residual limb, on my below the knee amputation, my stump. Alrighty, well, one of the things I want to avoid doing as much as possible, of course it's not possible to do it 100% of the time, is I want to prevent this dangling or hanging, this stump hanging, because during the time that it hangs, like if in the morning when I get up, it's hanging off the edge of the bed, I want to keep that down to a minimum. Sitting in the shower chair, want to cut that down to a minimum, and when I'm sitting in a wheelchair or a regular chair, any of that thing, I want to keep this this hanging of my residual limb down to a minimum, because the longer it hangs, typically the more it will swell up, and it'll make it difficult or possibly even impossible for me to put my prosthetic legs on. So there's a couple of things you can do to help with that situation. A couple of things that I do is just as soon as I get out of the shower and dry off my leg, I go ahead and put on these shrinkers until I get my prosthesis on. And once I get the prosthesis on, at that point I don't have to worry about any more swelling, and it works out fine. It just won't get any bigger than the prosthesis will allow it to get. Now, for some reason I couldn't put my prosthesis on, for some, just for whatever reason. I have had my one of my prosthetic, well, actually at different times I've had both of my prosthetic legs actually in the shop where I didn't have legs for several days because they had to get fixed, or they had to get worked on, or replacement parts or something like that. So in that case, I try to minimize the dangling. At that point, I'm in a wheelchair. I never was smart enough to figure out crutches, and I think when I don't have either leg on, I'd look pretty funny trying to use crutches in any case. In any case, one of the things that I can do if I am not able to wear my prosthesis is, especially when I'm in a wheelchair, there's these things called ant boards that help prop my legs up, or I could sit on a couch and sit sideways in such a way that it keeps this stump. We want to keep this stump propped up basically as much as possible. And it'll help reduce this. It'll help reduce the amount of swelling. Chances are it'll still swell some over the course of time without wearing a prosthetic legs, especially in the time of year where you get hot and sweaty and things of that nature. At least for me, that's when my stump tends to swell up. So use of an ant board, judicious use of these shrinkers, putting on prosthetic legs on as soon as reasonably possible. These are all things that will help with swelling situations. So hopefully that little bit of information was something that you can use. Good luck, and I'm sorry about this unfortunate close-up.